Oh my, it's Kellee White.
Hey, it's James Van Praagh.
What are you up to?
Thinking about changing the world.
Me too. We should do a show together.
What would it be about?
Let me show you.
The James and Kellee Show. Hi! Wee wee!
I love the candid audience. The candid audience. Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I sit there in the background going like this.
And hello everyone.
Hi, everybody.
The next one we're gonna do. Kellee and I just came up with the next opening for the next for our show for another show or next year or whatever it is. But it's gonna be a good one.
Well, we're driving. We're going to be driving.
We're going to Ethel and Lucy because when Kellee and I are in cars, we don't know where we're going.
Oh, forget it.
I think it's that way. No, let me back up. Oh, did you see the light?
And we've barely made events on time, and in fact have been late often.
In Maui, we just talked about it before going on.
I think we're 30 minutes late.
I was thinking about Maui, and you said I was driving. I don't remember driving.
You were driving, and because you had the car. I don't know why I didn't have it, but you had the car.
And there was a lot of traffic in Maui, and I get to the I don't know, the center, the event center. It was 30 minutes late, but I turned to Kellee and I said, "It doesn't matter. We get to the can't do something show without me."
You were so calm about it.
Maui, Wowie, it was whatever.
Oh my gosh.
And then we drove in the mountains of Maui the next day.
Yes.
And we're back to a coffee plantation.
Oh.
That was the greatest day.
It was a great day.
A couple that had the large place, and oh, it's fantastic.
It was amazing.
We got lost in it, but it's a fabulous restaurant. Who knew it was a top restaurant in Maui? We just stumbled upon it. And Kellee, I don't know where are we, but it's a beautiful view.
And it turned out the owner was a friend of my father's. That was even stranger. And there was a picture of my dad in the restaurant. Even stranger, considering my dad was from Chicago. Yeah, that was a bit odd. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, we've had some funny experiences.
We've had some good experiences, yes.
Along the way here.
I'm just going to say that. Won't say anything about it, but there you go.
Yeah, we can't talk about that now. But
Kellee and I, we talk a lot, and I guess it was last week we were talking about it. And a lot of times with my work, Kelly's work, whatever its form that takes, we often get people that will complain, and they don't stop. And you could tell them 16,000 things or different ways of looking at something, and it's still in that complaint part. So with Kellee, I said we should do a show about that. So,
well, my mom used to say she would call them help rejecting complainers.
Right.
She had a real name for it. And
my mom was a psychotherapist, a psychologist.
My mom was a psychologist, and so she would say, well, those patients or those people that they're help rejecting. You might come up with an idea, you may come up with a way to do something or something positive, and then they just are constantly with the negative and complaining. And
we've all had them. We've all had them.
I mean, and kind of I just want to make note here. We're all in the same boat here. We're all in a COVID situation, so we're all in the same boat. And when I hear all the constant negativity about it and the constant negativity about life in general, it just gets to you after a while, doesn't it, James?
Well, yeah, and if that's the energy you're putting out to the universe, that's what you're going to get back. And no one likes to have a whiner. You're really they go on. I'm bored. I'm sorry. Life is too short. Let's move on.
Yeah.
I have very little patience. I mean, I have a lot of empathy. But if someone is doing that and they're just going on, I stop that right away. I say, I got to go. Sorry. And especially if I give them help and assistance and they don't hear it. They don't hear it because they don't want to hear it, and they go back to that pattern, that their old record. They keep on to the old tapes. Yeah. So as a psychotherapist, Kellee, what do you think part of that is? The reason
I think that a couple of things. Number one, they may have had a parent, particularly a mother, that the only thing they heard, the only way they could be heard is through negativity. So the mother, often they're personality disorders, mothers that are personality disorders, they're constant complainers and negativity, and then they pick it up. It's like something it's a learned behavior. It's a learned behavior. And so they just keep going at it. And the other thing is, perhaps it's the only way they can be heard.
That's what I was thinking. Attention.
It's attention, and they need to be heard. There are and they want to be validated. So you might want to say, somebody who's They also misery loves company. Let's just
That's
say it
very
like that.
true. That's very, very true. You're
The old
right.
the old thing, I mean, again, if I use the idea that we're all in the same boat right now with COVID, we're all in the same boat. We all have things to think about and worry about, but we've got to find positive things during this time to change our brain waves because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
especially with this learned behavior, this and people also seem to love drama. You notice that the negativity, it's a drama piece to it.
It goes back to me. It's, the feeling I sense from it is a detention thing, and it needs to be
Mhm.
attention. And I think if you don't get attention, the right, well, the ways that are acceptable in society, because you go to the extreme of pain, poor pitiful me, and
Oh
people look at
yeah,
people feel
victim.
sorry, victim consciousness,
Mhm.
resentment, and look at me. And it's like I said, we're all in it together. And yeah, you said if they complain, they want company in that complaint, and it's so interesting. I think even though right now we're in a situation which is very, very difficult for all of us, I do think, Kelly, as you said, it's your perspective and how you handle it. It's true of anything besides COVID. It's
Mhm.
lessons in life or things that were hand situations. How do you deal with that situation? Are you going to rise above it and learn from it, or are you going to make it go down, make it you
Well,
yourself go down with it?
exactly. And it's so this is really interesting. Why do people complain? And there's a significant gap here between an expectation and reality.
Oh, talk about that. I love that.
So, I
That
mean,
makes so
right?
much
So
sense.
if
Yeah,
you have
without a doubt.
an expectation that things should be this way or they have to be this way, and then there's a big gap of how they really are, you're not looking at reality. And often that's where a negative mindset steps in. And
So,
also
can I just
can be a
interrupt, Kelly? But
oh, please.
by saying that, it also shows that I think a lot of people who say in that complain mode are control freaks, and
Oh,
because they have that expectation, they want to control that outcome. And we realize they're not going to have that outcome. They freak out, and they're control freaks, and you can't control
yes.
people, can't control situations. It's
No.
how you deal with it. You know what are you going to do about it? It's not controlling other people. You can't control the people.
No, you just can't. And also what happens is when you are negative and when you are negative and complaining over and over again, what it really does is it pushes people away.
It does. It does. Because you're talking, number one, you're talking about yourself. And it also goes in within cells instead of going out and reaching other people. It's really concentrating on yourself and what
And
you don't have, you know?
what tell me about the energy of that too, James, when
Oh,
somebody is so much negative energy and
well,
they're complaining, what does it make
I'm,
you feel energetically?
well, well, it's really weird because I'm just going to say this the energy that I'm aware of maybe goes clockwise, right?
Yeah.
Around someone clockwise. And when I see a negative or a complainer, constant complainer, it starts going the other way. And I've noticed that several times where it just starts turning the other way. But then again, the whole auric field is messed up. I'll tell you, I've seen auric fields, the energy
Right.
around them, envelopes of energy. Oh, it's not clean. It's not good. It's a negative type of thing. And remember, negativity is limiting. So that workspace energy will be very, very limiting. So the life
Right.
of that person won't be expansive. It really won't. They keep on doing that. And we are here on this earth to look beyond what we see here. Beyond. We have to reach for the skies. We have to reach out and experience everything new. Do something new. And really stop beating yourself up. You know, enough people out there will do it for you. Stop beating yourself up. And we're
Right.
here to rise above it. And if you keep complaining, we're not going to rise above it. We're going to stay in that little
We're going to
boat by
stay in the
ourselves.
same place. Well, Debbie Foster Horan says, I have found many people that crave drama seem to have a very low self-esteem and use drama to gain attention. Any attention is better than no attention. That's very true. It often does stem from somebody with low self-esteem.
Yeah, yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt, I agree with that, and it's a way of getting attention. Like I said, going back to the childhood, you know, the
Mhm.
baby screams to get attention sometimes from mother and father. Screams, that's dramatic, and they'll pay
Yeah.
attention. So it comes from that as well. I'd also, I think, in some way, people feel that they deserve more. They have to have more. So they complain about it. I want why, and I've been around this. Why can't I have that? I once showed someone.
Oh,
I was living in Laguna once, and nice house, great, nice house. I'm showing someone. I do the garden, right? And this is a medium, believe it or not. We're doing a event together, and we're walking around, and to the end of the thing, the other side of the house. This medium looks around and goes, "Why can't I have this? Why can I? Why do you have this?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh," It's like just want to share with and to have that attitude of anyone. A lot of people go around, they want this, so they feel it's better than they deserve. You can't live that way. You just
Oh
can't
my
live that way.
God.
If you're telling the universe, you're complaining to the universe. It's almost like when I do readings, and when you do readings, when we work in the spirit world, I often tell people you have to open your mind. You can't have expectations because you'll block.
Right.
Negativity limits. It'll block
Oh,
that space. And it also blocks, Kelly, when there's negativity like that over and over again. You will block the energy, I always say, from coming in, new things in life. You won't see them, they'll
right.
go right by you. Even
Right.
this goes down to an experience I've had with people, like, let's say, just for instance, parents whose child passed away. A drunk driver killed the boy, and the drunk driver lived. There's an actual event happened once, and the parents can't forgive that person, right, that killed their
Mm.
son. And in a demonstration, the son said, "You have to." Several times it happened where the spirit would say, "You have to forgive. You got to stop the negativity because if you keep on living that space of not forgiving, you're blocking positive things in your life to happen.
Yeah.
Not only in your life, but the next generation. If you keep it up, it'll affect the next generation, that energy." So
Mhm.
it's the sins of our father, that saying to the Bible. It's very, very true. So it's an ongoing. So we got to stop that.
Boy, is that the truth, James? Because
Yeah.
it's intergenerational. Then it just goes
It's
to the next
intergenerational.
generation and the next generation. So somebody has to stop the pattern. Somebody's
Right.
got to stop it. And so if this rings true to anybody that's out there that's listening about that, maybe you're recognizing that you have a negative pattern. And if you're listening to this, there are a lot of things that you can do about stopping a negative pattern. I mean, so let's just talk about this. I mean, do you see the glass as half empty? Are you one of these people, half empty?
Or
That's a
or
big
or or like I am and stuff, but I always see positivity. In the worst
right.
circumstances, there's gotta be a better thing. And you know what helps me, Kelly? It really helps that I have a sense of who I am, and I get to
Yeah.
laugh at myself because 'cause I'm a fool. I'm a great, funny person. I'm my best audience, and I
Mm.
just laugh at myself all the time. You can't take it all so
Oh
seriously.
my
You
gosh.
right?
No.
You just can't.
Well, and
And
people
it's
throw
boring. No one
negative
wants to be around a complainer. No, boring, moving on, boring,
next.
boring.
Right. That's so true.
Right?
Um, I mean, are people pointing out your negative levels? So, I
That's
mean,
something
if
too.
somebody is pointing it out to you, you might want to pay attention.
And what
Are
would they
people
likely do? They'd probably say bye-bye and move on,
I was just going to say, then after that, they avoid you. People will
Yeah.
avoid you. You know. Um, and are you focused more on the causes of problems than on the solutions?
That makes a lot of sense.
I mean, really, are you so you have a negative thought and you're thinking something negative. What can you do to stop that?
Yeah.
Because that pattern, that negative energy is going to also affect your body, it's going to affect your mind, it's going to affect your soul, and it'll affect
Emotions.
everything around you.
Yeah. It's like hearing when a music and you hear a beautiful symphony, but then if you hear music and they completely just the chords messed up, they can't. It's not in harmony. It's disharmony. That's what it's like. And then you giving the message to your bodies of this instead of being balanced. It's like all of this phonetic energy, and
Oh,
what can you do with
absolutely.
that? What can you do with that? It also goes into the point, Kelly, that you and I have experienced many times with reading people messages,
Oh, yeah.
with demonstrations, of course. And you give it. Oh my gosh, you can give some incredible, incredible detailed, evidential details. And the person on, well, can you give me his name? Okay, I don't know about this,
Oh,
but
no.
they close off just because they want to hear that one thing. I just come on, it's the
It's
bigger
so
picture.
interesting. But it's exhausting, but you're absolutely right
The bigger
because
picture.
here they're getting a gift. It's a gift.
That's right.
They're
But
getting
that's
some really powerful information that's a gift, and then somebody wants to focus on some negative thing, and it spirals, and then what it does for me as a medium, I just stop. I
yeah.
There's something about the energy that it just kind of blocks me.
Yeah, I'm the same way, very, very much so. And people don't realize that when you're communicating with the spirit world, we're trying to get lucky you get anything because they're in a higher dimension.
Yeah,
Let's say they're in a sixth or seventh dimension, and they're trying to feed the medium information that they have to remember from the third dimension, and have to come down and lower that vibration. It's such a dense. That's what it's
right.
like. And if they get anything through, it should be a miracle. But people, the human, they don't realize. Oh, we're talking. They're in a seventh dimension, and like if they describe what colors there, we would understand them. So we're lucky if we get anything that they have a memory of their human condition. But that's it's just and life is
Well,
like that. I mean,
I was
really,
just gonna say, I mean, I always love to do readings for people that are upbeat and positive
yeah.
and loving and kind and
And the results
easy.
are there. The results are there with that,
Results are
right?
there. It makes it so much easier for me, and
Yeah,
also I love to be around people like that, that are upbeat and kind
we
and
all do.
loving, and then afterwards, I walk away, I feel really good, and then for the next person, I feel good about the next person. So
Kelly,
it's an
I'm
interesting thing.
I want to share with you. Yesterday, I went to the nursery, which that's rare, right? A nursery, and it's a small nursery where I live, and some yeah, there's not a lot of things, but beautiful specimens of things, and like a neighborhood nursery. And I went there yesterday. It was windy, and got some plants. $18 here, $20 there. And I'm talking to this guy. And he said, "Help me." I'm noticing there before this man, and I'm at the cash register with this lady, and I turned to the guy and I said, "You are great. You have fantastic energy." He must have been in his 40s. You have clean, pure energy. You're a nice guy. It's nice to be around your energy. And the cash lady at the cash register, her name was Renee, and she said, "Doesn't he?" And I said, "Oh, he does." I said, "You keep that, Mister." And we didn't know who I was or anything. I said, "Who is this guy?" But I said, it's good to see people, and I say at your age, but who really are pure and who don't take on. Yeah, and to see that, we all love being around positive people. We love
Right,
that. It brings
right,
music to the ears. So,
right.
and he loved me saying, he said, "Thank you. I really appreciate that." People have said that to me, but I'm glad you said that. I thank you. There you go.
And
What
it
do you know?
starts and then think how good he must have felt
Oh yeah, of
after
course.
that. I mean, he got acknowledged for a positive
Yeah, yeah.
as
And I
opposed
got
to a
to
negative, you know? I mean, I think that's just amazing.
we want the
Wow.
world to be a better place. We got to start with self.
We have to start with self.
Yeah.
So I got some tips here for
Do you?
to stop
Okay.
complaining. Yeah. So for everybody that can wait, Tracy says she was trained to rescue people. Help. Tracy Spain says that. Oh, I understand. I was too, Tracy. So run. Um,
You can only
here's my
help
answer.
people so much, and you have to help people to help themselves. They can't take
Yes.
advantage of you and walk all over you like a doormat, and they will. If you give an inch, they'll take a mile. I'm telling you, you got to set your boundaries. You have to.
Boundaries are huge. People are talking about that here. It's the trickle down effect. Exactly. Sarah Marie Haig says that. It's very, very true. It is a trickle down effect. Um, okay, tips to stop complaining. All right. First, step back and look at the big picture, everybody. Catch yourself. Catch yourself. Stop yourself. Catch yourself. Because complaining is a habit.
Break the habit.
Break the habit. Set an intention. The intentions are powerful. I'm going to stop complaining. So set that intention.
Interruption.
Yeah,
Interruption. Sorry, I'm going to
that's okay.
complain.
I'm not going to
It just
complain.
it just came to me as you're saying that. So when you say stop, pause, have a word, have a keyword that
I love
a keyword comes into your head. What about a flower, love, whatever it is for anyone? Get a keyword that reminds you that I'm complaining. I got to stop it. So keyword that might help. Just came.
that's a great one. Great
Yeah.
one. Whatever the buzzword is that you use, could be James and Kelly. I mean,
There
it.
you go.
Okay, look within. Number 2, look within. Take your complaint, whatever you're saying, take it seriously. What was your complaint about? And then go within. Okay? I mean, go within. Is it really worth that complaint? Can you do anything about it?
And
Ask
also,
yourself.
why? What is why? Why are you complaining? What is the reason behind that? Where does that stem
Yes,
from? Why are you complaining?
right,
And it
exactly.
all stems from you can't expect the other person to do something, expect them to do something. You got to do it yourself. And yeah, yeah. Why are you? What's the cause root to cause? If you will.
Exactly. Stop and take action at this point.
Ding 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 ding.
Take
Real good
some
one.
action. Do something different. It's a muscle. You'll have to learn how to just make this muscle strong about being positive.
Positive.
Um,
Yeah,
and then find the positives in the situation, whatever it is.
I
And
love
here,
that.
find the positives. But here's the big one: practice gratitude. Gratitude is everything. And with gratitude, did you know when you practice gratitude, your brain gets filled with dopamine? And dopamine is what makes us feel good.
It's true.
We love
Dancing,
dopamine.
singing, laughing, dopamine. Yeah, we love
Dopamine.
dopamine. True. True.
It's very true.
I,
And
I find Kelly, back to your gratitude list. I every morning I create a gratitude, whether it's in my mind to come up three
okay,
things, but they got to be different every day. So I'll say, oh,
okay.
I love the sky the way it is, or I love the flowers, or I love that person's smile, the gratitude. It puts you in that mindset. It'll bring you into
Yes.
that mindset, and it'll affect your whole day and your whole life. It's true.
It's very true. I like that.
Yeah,
So maybe daily think of
daily
something
gratitude. You
different.
bet. You
Because,
bet.
you know, we're in this situation now, and all of us need to find some sort of positivity in every day, a simple thing. It could be looking at a flower. In my case, we're having a snowstorm, and I've had to make peace, frankly, with snow. I've had to make peace with it. I'm not complaining.
Unbelievable.
I'm just
Getting
admiring,
a
like,
new wardrobe, a Los Angeles girl, and then
oh,
going to the middle of the Midwest. It's
let me tell you what
crazy.
happened today. Don said he was very sweet. Don said, look at the little bunny rabbit." And we had a bunny rabbit making tracks all the way
Uh,
around the whole farm. I'd never again, from LA, I would never saw anything like this. So that made my whole morning, actually. It
It
made me
does
really
change your
happy.
perspective. It's changing your perspective. Tell everybody what Jordy, our good friend Jordy from
Okay.
Ohio,
Okay.
said to you when you told you to move to
Okay, so
Wisconsin.
imagine this one. I'm with at James on his 60th birthday. He had this great birthday party. It's fabulous. And Jordy's this old time friend, and she's wonderful. And she said to me, "Is it true you're moving to the Midwest?" I said, "Oh my God, I am. I mean, what do you think?" And I said, "What do you do during the winter?" I mean, because I was coming from a place, and she said, "It's where my soul renews itself."
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so every day I have her voice in my head. Ooh, today it's a big snowstorm. My soul is really renewing.
And she
Just
is someone in my life that I met that every time, even if it's a negative thing, whatever, she'll turn it positive. Wow, isn't that interesting? The universe put that in my place. Wow, that's interesting. And the other
yeah,
day, she called me up and said, "Wow," so we tell it like you and I telepathically
yeah.
connect. And I was thinking about Jordan Olson. She called me or texted me, and she said, "Isn't this interesting?" We talked to each other. She goes, "Isn't this interesting? I was in a dark space." She knows it's a dark space, and she never complains. And she goes, "And I went down to my office where I do all my magic things happen." And I looked at the floor, and your CD on forgiveness had fallen from inside a Tibetan bowl 2 shelves up on the floor. Not only the fold down, but the folder was there, the envelope separated.
Oh
And she
my
goes,
God.
"Isn't that amazing?" I said, "Well, Jordy, that's who you are. I mean, you help with that energy for things to manifest because you're so positive."
Oh
And
my
she is. And I always say, WWJD, what would Jordy do? Because she's taught me about not complaining, that everyone has a purpose in your life. It's how you treat things, how you look at it. She taught me that. So I go
And
out to
by
Jordy.
the way, she didn't have it easy. She lost her son.
But the sun, yeah, she's not been
So
easy at
she
all.
didn't have it easy. My goodness.
She finds
Um,
it everything exciting. We went to a delicatessen. She ordered sandwiches, and my God, everybody would love George. She goes, "I think today, the lettuce is speaking to me. Maybe that turkey salad has extra." And then she goes, "What kind of desserts do you have?" And I said, "She goes, oh, I eat my desserts before I get the food." That's what she said.
and
Right.
I mean, and didn't she also forget her luggage? Or no,
Okay, this is when I first met
bag.
her. I mean, oh my God. I first went on a cruise. One of the first cruises I did, I don't know where we were, I think in Europe, and we're getting on the ship, and I'm with my partner Brian in front of me, and I just happened to turn around, and this lady with these beautiful green eyes and beautiful eyes, Pisces. And I said, "Oh, hello." She goes, "Hi." She goes, "I'm here for you." I said, "Oh, it's good. Good to have you." She goes, "Yeah, my clothes didn't make it, but that's okay. I wear the same thing every day." So I turned to Brian and said, "We're hanging out with this lady. She has a great attitude." And that's who she is. That's who
But
she
it
is.
was the attitude because she could have gone on a
Yeah.
banana peel. She could have gone
Like,
totally
yeah,
negative at that
like
moment.
most people, and
Oh,
she's been
how
the
many
one.
times have we
Yeah,
seen that happen on a
yeah,
ship? I mean,
yeah. Oh,
something new.
yeah.
That's so true. Oh my gosh. Well, one of the things that's really would be a great idea for everybody to do would be a complaint cleanse. A complaint cleanse. And it's again setting your intentions. So you're going to cleanse yourself. Do this for a week, everybody. If you feel you fall into the negative path here, start because negativity drains your energy and it
It
drains
does,
everybody around
it
you.
does. It
And it
pulls you down.
requires so much energy. If you think about it, how much energy you waste on negativity. It's amazing. And this has long-lasting effects on your mind, body, and soul, as we were saying here. So swear off complaining for a week. Do a cleanse on this. Set the intention that you're going to be positive Kellee and James for a week. And then it's a muscle and it starts to go through this. But monitor the thoughts when they come to your head. Monitor the thoughts. You get a negative thought, you're talking to somebody and you're about ready to go down that river of negativity. Stop yourself.
Mhm,
And then
mhm.
it'll really shock your friends, actually. It'll shock them, right? All of a
It's
sudden,
true.
something positive comes out of your mouth. Practice mindfulness. That means being very mindful of words, and everything. Words have meaning, words have energy, they have power.
Me too. Yes, we're gonna do a show about that. We have to. Um,
Have to.
and there was a research science. I don't know the actual research that was done here, but I know it was a research study, and some scientists said one negative thought. It takes like 20 positive things to eliminate the negative. The one negative thought. It'll take 20 positive thoughts or 20 positive things that you create to eliminate that one negative.
Is that amazing, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's the kind of energy that a negative that
It's like a
negative.
weed. It's like a weed. It's like it just grabs you. It just
Right, right.
strangles you. It strangles your mind, and you get that spin. You spin out with it.
And nobody wants to be around it.
No. Look at the world right now. It's not a great time, but it's different. It's certainly different. We get to see everybody's eyes. We get to see the power behind some of that one. First, I went to a store that everyone's wearing masks. Wow, and people can be climbing. I love these people's eyes. You can see their eyes more, and you can't speak to them. I love the communication.
Oh my
I,
gosh, I love that.
yeah, I always make it a game. Always make it a game, a fun thing to do. Always, I always do every day. It works much better that way, I think. Because
You've
it's not an
always
easy
made that.
school.
But you've
School is
always
always
done that. You've always made everything that way, positive, upbeat, let's have fun. I
why
used to
not?
say to my daughter, "We're gonna go have an adventure." I didn't care if we were going to Target. I didn't care what we were doing. We're gonna go have an adventure. Everything to me is an adventure.
Well,
And
you said last year about this year coming up, but
oh,
the past last year, you said, "Well,
yeah.
it doesn't look good astrologically." Oh, and you would all remember every time you talk was negative stuff about astrology.
I'm
Like, oh,
so
Kelly, I don't want to
sorry,
talk to you anymore.
everybody.
And one thing you said, no, it's an e-ride at Disneyland. Now most people don't remember e-rides, but it was the ride, the scariest rides. And it's been an e-ride, the roller coaster. So when things happen, I'm like, oh, I don't go, oh, Kelly, we're in a curve. Oh, we're
Yeah,
going to turn low. No,
I
we
mean,
want to. We're going to get out of it. All of us are going to get out of it.
oh,
We
we
will.
are gonna get out of
But it's
this.
how you treat it along the way. It's what you do along the way
And
that
this
matters.
is the journey where
This is a
our souls
journey.
are gonna learn the most. And
So
this so
true.
use every moment as a learning for your soul. Your soul is growing and growing and growing. What did you learn? When you pass over and you're going through your life review, they're gonna say, "Ooh, during COVID, what did you learn?" And you're gonna say, "Well, I worked on my negativity." Yay! That's what they're gonna say. And it's gonna be a great thing.
Well, then they'll probably say, God, so, you could have more in your life. You could have a lot more things if you just had the positiveness and give us something to work with because they work with positive energy to manifest things.
Yes.
Instead of that negative, which is blunt, flat, you can just, this is so funny. I'm sorry, I'm mixing my things up here because I've had these funny thoughts. My friend Roberta, I spoke to her on the phone today, Roberta, and
She's
she said, we
really
had this conversation, and when someone complains, she said, they'll be saying, oh, and my cat, this, and Roberta, I just go, flatline. She goes, I flatline. Like she doesn't hear it. She flatlines. So great.
Oh my God. Oh, I love this. Debbie Foster Horan says, for every complaint, we should write down a positive, grateful affirmation and
Perfect.
collect them in an affirmation jar. Oh, I like that
Oh,
idea.
great. That is
Great
great, honey.
idea.
Should
I
do
like
something
that
with that. That's a
affirmation
good teaching
jar.
element. Yes.
Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. And Deb Keckley says, laugh, best medicine for what ails you. Yes, that is the truth.
I got to run in here. This is Jackie Mendinga. My husband is a Taurus. And me and Aries. Woohoo! He comes home every day with complaints almost every day. Ugh. 30 years, and he looks at me and says, what's wrong? Oh, the way you look at life, maybe.
That's a tough one.
It's tough one,
Oh
but what's not fulfilled in your life is it?
yeah.
It all comes back to loving yourself. I don't care. It comes back to loving self, having a relationship with yourself. And if you don't have that kernel of that, everything's gonna be blown up, and it's gonna be someone else's fault and no responsibility, and it'll go in
Well,
a downward
that's
spiral.
exactly true. If you and everything comes to know thyself also. Know thyself, love thyself, know thyself.
Their own self be true. My
And
grandmother, the first thing she said to me, their own
yes,
self be true. Yeah.
yes. And if you do know and can understand that you are negative, now is the time to make a change because we're in a situation, not just with COVID, but astrologically, it's about making change, making great changes right now. So this is the time to set your intentions, to have a positive thinking for the next week, for the next month, for the next year, for this year.
Kelly, can I just ask you a quick question? What you think about this? It just came to me.
Mhm.
Are there people out there, which I'm sure there might be, there are people out there who actually complain that they're into that whole thing, and they have no sense that they're doing it?
Oh, unconscious? Oh, yes.
It's unconscious. We talk about the unconscious. A lot
Let's
of them,
talk about that. Yes,
yeah,
a
the
lot of
unconscious
people
self.
well, let me just say this about that, personality disorders. So if you have a parent or a friend or a husband or a spouse that is a personality disorder, they are unconscious about their behavior. And even though people may say, you're a little negative, they can't hear that. They can't hear anything. And no matter what, they're not going to make a change. So you might not want to waste your time. You could try, but they're going to sap all your energy if there's a
Yeah,
personality disorder. If there's
interesting.
not a personality disorder, then they can make a change. It's a
Gonna
personality
make a
disorders are
change.
the toughest one with negativity, especially borderlines. They grab onto negative things. They thrive on negativity, and that makes it tough. That makes it very tough.
It's very true. Very, very true. Flip the negative into a positive. Yes, yes, yes. I love the rose. I love the rose thing that I've been having a lot of dreams. And the next day it happened. Okay. The nose thing. Okay.
Mm, well,
We
that's
should take some phone calls, maybe.
yes. Let's take a phone call.
Hi there. Yes.
Hi, Renee. We're just
So,
going
hi.
some phone calls.
Okay, let's see here. We have, we're bringing you in. I'm sorry, I couldn't catch your name, but you're live now. Please go ahead and announce yourself.
Hi. Who's this? You can speak whenever you like.
You can speak. You're live in the show.
Hello. Next person.
Okay, let's see here. We have drop.
Yeah, the next person.
Next person. Hi, Melissa. You're live. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Yes.
Okay. Melissa, you there?
That's good. And Katie? Katie, go ahead. You're live in the studio.
Hi. My
Hi.
name's Kathy. How are you?
Okay. What's up, honey?
I was very curious about if there is any kind of important messages coming through.
Yeah, exactly what
on
we're talking about.
decisions.
Exactly what we're here. You're not hearing it. It's all about negative complaining tonight, and it's dealing with that.
Yes.
So it's not. We're not doing mediumship tonight. We're just talking about negativity and complaining. Do you know that?
Okay. And so, yeah. And so, like, if you're around someone who's doing that a lot, and like it causes like toxic feelings in your stomach.
Good word, toxic. Great
Yes,
word.
it does. That's a great word for that, and it
Great
certainly
word.
does. It can make you really anxious. It can make you physically sick, actually.
Make you
Make
ill.
you ill. Yeah, being around somebody who's toxic. Is your spouse toxic?
Or friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's a tough one.
Yes.
and there's also learning there. We're around toxic people. Sometimes it's learning for us. It's again going back to yourself. How much of this am I willing to take? Because we've got to love ourselves enough to say bye bye. And because they can't bring you down. If you go down, you got to take responsibility. It's your fault as well. We're not stepping up. I think sometimes getting away from that situation is the best thing you could possibly do, because you don't want to stay in that when it becomes an addiction, a codependency, because it'll become an addiction of codependency. That's not good. Then you're going down. So you got to step out of it and just be yourself and be free. Do you think, Kellee?
Yeah, and is there a way to like buffer that until you're able to move in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, what some of the things that you could do is constantly practice a positive outlook, a positive energy, and make a plan of where you see yourself and how to leave.
Okay.
There's hope.
That's it. I just like and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, work on yourself. Work on yourself.
Yeah, you don't have to be
Trauma
everyone.
work,
Work on
yeah,
yourself.
whatever it is, work on yourself. We can't change somebody else, really. It's really the work that you do on yourself and get your strength strong enough so you can make a change. Okay?
Okay.
Hey, love. Lots
Thank
of love to you. Bye, honey.
All right. Thank you, Kathy.
Right.
Thank
Hey, Kathy.
you. Okay, we have Betty.
Hi, Betty.
Hi, Betty.
Hi, Betty.
Hi. How are you?
Good.
Good. How can we help you?
DJ Stephanie.
There's a little delay. That's all. It's fine.
I'm just trying to find out. I've got a lot of friends right now, and a lot of us are about the same way. Know things, see things. How do I get them and myself? You see these negative people coming in and coming at you. We need more grounding. And you're so flustered at the time because I don't think they mean to say the mean things and do mean things, but
I gotcha. You know what you do? You know what you do, sweetheart? Practice boundaries. Boundaries. And you tell someone, I'm not accepting that. I'm sorry, you can't say it to me. I won't accept that. And walk away. You have boundaries. You can't let them walk on you like a doormat. Do not allow that to happen.
Again, know thyself, get yourself really strong. And you just mentioned about grounding. And James, tell everybody
Ah,
about the new James Star said, because I got to see it and it was
yeah.
so great about grounding.
Yeah, I'm doing a new on the YouTube for my show, James Starseed, and the new episode is on grounding, and it's very cute. It was my favorite one we've done so far. And my dog is involved, and the man who edits it, Ryan Brown, he put some captions in with Maisie, and it's pretty funny. But it's a lot of great. I've already had some feedback from one person.
Great
It's great,
tips you have.
great techniques of grounding for
I love
sure.
the one where you grab the tree, you hold on to the tree. I
Yes.
love that one
The
though.
tree, petting my dog. That's what, petting the dog. Yeah, it was a whole bunch of different tips in grounding. I mean, even putting your hands in ice, bring yourself back to center. Yeah, ice, that'll do it.
Never thought
Clapping, of
about
course.
that one.
Tapping really helps to
Yeah,
ground
tapping's
as
a good one.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so many things like that for sure. Laughing will do it as well. So.
Wow. Well,
How
good.
about mentally?
And you
When
talked about knowing things and seeing things like a psychic or clairvoyant. And if you are that way, it's one thing to be that, which is fine. It's an ability that's great. But it's also because we're a human, we can't be so evolved that way. But we're not any good for the humans. We got to be our human self, which is to set boundaries and to live in this human life.
Yes.
Where and if you set boundaries, you will teach that other person too. You're teaching them that they can only do so much, that
Yeah.
they shouldn't do that. So you're also teaching them, sweetheart, taking care of yourself.
I love that
Okay?
one. I love that one. Wow.
Mhm.
All right. Thanks,
Thank
Betty, very
you.
much. I love
Thank
there's a
you.
comment
Thank
here.
you.
Trish Taylor says, yes, I know unconscious negative people. I've called them out on it. They apologize, and this is my favorite. And in 5 minutes, they're complaining again. Oh, is that the truth? That's when I hang up the phone.
Yeah.
That's when I go, okay, I gotta go.
Yeah. Less of this and more of this.
Yes.
Um,
I love that.
yeah. Kelly, one thing when we had Kathy speaking, and she's talking about, having people around. I think there's sometimes it's hard for certain sensitives, empaths, regular people who feel that they have to help someone. They become the martyrs, and they try helping someone, helping someone. They feel they have to help them get on their journey or have to help in some way. And it gets to a point that you're not helping them and you're hurting yourself. You're hurting them because you haven't moved out. But
Well,
there are people that fall into that space, right? They're
yeah.
chronic
Well,
helpers, if you will, of the
yes,
complainers. Yeah,
exactly. And
of
one
the
of the things
complainers.
you have to really know, if you, so there are some people out there that you want to go help and you're helping, and then if you notice you give all your blood and it's not enough,
Yes,
run.
run,
'Cause
run.
that's really a borderline personality disorder, somebody that's just taking everything from you. And no matter what you do, no matter what you give, no matter what, and that's that help rejecting complainer thing. And that's where you have to know to go, all right, I've had enough. That's it.
I have a client like that who's very wealthy and lives in a different place, and there's always, I have many clients all over the world that way, but one particular who complains and complains, she's just like, always something that she'll find things to complain about. And
Hmm.
it's like, and the same, and I answer this question, I'm like, well, and then within 5 minutes, the same question. So I just answered that, but she doesn't want to accept that,
No.
and her husband too. They don't want to accept that. That's you got to do the work. You got to do the work. The things just
Yes.
magically appear. You got to do the work.
Well, that's just it. I think they think, there's an expectation
Yeah.
that it's going to be one way, and when it's not, then they get angry, they get agitated, and they just want to continue down that road of complaint. And there's also an entitlement piece
Yes.
too.
Yeah,
And
there's a Thailand piece, exactly right. 100%. It reminds me of the image you had me said that was like a big wall and they keep like banging into it, trying to find an opening, and I'll teach about trying to find an opening. There's no opening. It's a
there's
wall.
no opening.
No opening. Stop doing it. You're not gonna
Exactly.
get anywhere. But
Oh my
bounce back.
Oh my gosh. So this is a great question. This woman, Jeanette Gunnels Jackson, says, my mother was totally negative her whole life. She died in June. Does she realize now how she was and what her negativity did to my sister and me?
Wow,
James, take it away. Is that a great one? That's a great one, Jeanette. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for you. That's a big one. But
that's a
great
big one.
question.
And it's obviously your soul chose that mother.
Yeah.
And I would have seen the things that would manifest and for your own soul's growth and your mother's growth. So what happens in that situation is once it gets to the spirit side, there's an openness of expansion. It's expansionist, it's a different consciousness, if you will. And they begin to see the wholeness of their being and they get to see ways that they behaved. And, it's hard to say that they were maybe in a mental way, they had took on this borderline disorder and acted out in certain ways. But many times I have found, and Kelly, probably in your readings too, that there's a lot of regrets,
Oh,
and I should not have done it. I've had
yeah.
so many reasons that parents come through or relatives and say, I've been waiting so long to speak to you because I've been so sorry I did this to you. And,
Yeah.
and one in particular, I mentioned many times, this girl came to me for a reading, and oh God, it was a great reading until I didn't give her something she wanted, but at the end, I brought her father through, and I said, "Do you have any questions? Can you ask him why he didn't love me?"
Oh,
And this girl was 50 and 50s, and her whole life was she didn't meet people, she couldn't have friends. It was just a bad scene. And the father came through and he said, "I'm so sorry I didn't give you love. I never learned love from my parents, so I didn't know what it was. So how could I teach you something I knew nothing about?"
oh my gosh.
And she got it then, you see. They
Oh,
don't know what to do. You never know where they come from. You never know. So it's hard.
that's
It's a
that
hard one.
healing moment, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
That moment, and that would change generations.
Generations. It breaks the ancestral
Yeah.
pattern.
Wow. That's a big one. Oh my gosh.
I
Um,
think, Kelly, I know it's a question also here about having I went through a borderline child.
oh,
How do you recognize when you have
oh,
a borderline child?
well,
That's an interesting
you
one.
should have a session with me.
Yeah, there you go. I like the
Um,
best.
I seem to be the borderline whisperer. Let me just say, when you have a child that has borderline personality disorder, is they feel empty inside.
Mhm.
They act out emotionally. They rage. They are hysterical often. They're angry. Um, they can't. They've done nothing wrong. It's always somebody else, not them. It's a lot of negative traits. Now, my mom and I had this discussion every day of her life, and it was always the following: "Were they born this way? Did I have a bad seed? Like what? What happened here?"
Well, I'm going to ask you this, but I just wrote this down. So let me ask you this, and this is just a theoretical thing here. So let's say the parents are very negative people. Let's say they're just negative, unhappy people. Well, they do things that aren't good, right? And they have a child.
Mhm.
Does the energy of the parents, whatever they did, fall upon that child? I would think it would.
I think, I mean, a nature
They,
versus nurture.
they
Yeah,
right, they create that, if
yeah.
you will, and
Mhm.
they in place they have that negative child.
It absolutely
I don't
usually
know. I just thought
it
of that.
comes usually comes down the pike somehow. In some generation it would have come through. Usually it's something like that. It's been
It's
my
wild.
experience.
It's wild.
Um, yeah, it really is. And so what do you do for that? Well, there's a great therapy for children right now. It's dialectical behavioral therapy, and it's for children. DBT, it's called dialectical behavioral therapy for children. It's for adults, but it's for children. And let me tell you what they teach you. They teach the children how to be mindful, how to meditate, how to be in touch with their emotions, their feelings. And if you catch it early enough, I feel that if you give them the tools, it will help them survive, and they can thrive with it. Okay. So
Right.
dialectical behavioral therapy,
Right.
DBT, okay, for children, and it's fairly new for children right now. So look it up, and good luck with that one. That's a big one. I
It's just funny. I mean, it's an interesting thing. You know, you think about something, and then for 2 days it stays in your head, or you
Mhm.
talk to somebody about it 3 days ago, and then it comes up again. We had to talk about it, I think, last week, maybe, if I remember correctly. You know, with this COVID thing, we don't know what day it is. But the book I think it's Life Before Life. That when the child, when that soul is first born, and it's
Mhm.
actually a month before, and I read this book, and it's Life Between Life. It's a great book.
Oh yeah.
And remember that? And the
Mhm.
child, the soul, would talk about how it knew the conditions of the mother and father, what their relationship was. And I was very hesitant to come into this body. It was the wrong body for me. I hesitated to go to this household because they didn't love each other, or the father complained, oh, it's going to be a girl again, or whatever it was. It was so
Oh
interesting. And that affected their whole life.
yes.
Wow. That negativity,
Yes,
the
and
complaining.
then I go back we have to go back to they chose that mother, they chose that
That's,
father. So
yes.
what are you learning in this life
And
about
what are you going to do with it? What are you going
and
to do with
what
the
are you
cards?
gonna do with
The
it?
cards you're dealt. What are you going to make the best
Yes,
of those cards you're dealt?
that's really it's funny, that's an old statement, but it's true. The cards you were dealt.
And
What are
I
you gonna do?
before we went on tonight, I thought about this. I don't know what these pop in my head, but when you're younger and you have situations that are horrendous situations, maybe growing up in a family that was abusive families or something,
Yeah,
I do think that that soul grows. I do. I think there's a strength that comes from that. I mean, my own self, I know about that. I mean, I'm better off a person now because I had that experience, and now I'm much more empathetic to people. I'm much more patient. I understand people with addiction problems. I mean, I am much more tempered about the whole thing. I see what it is, and it changes you. I think it makes us stronger. You know.
Oh, it does. Our souls are here to grow and to learn compassion and empathy. And all of those would teach everybody that, you know. Um,
I want to talk about Larry King for a second.
oh, please talk about Larry King. You wrote such a
I wrote a
beautiful.
really nice.
Oh,
I cried during yesterday tribute to Larry because Larry helped. Well, we all would not be here right now if it
we
wasn't.
would not be here, and that's the truth. If you
Really,
had not been brave enough to do Larry King that night.
yes, it was. So you should read that. I have my Larry King cup here too. Oh, hold
Oh,
on. Larry King cup.
wow. Isn't that something? And so what year was that? 19, I mean,
97.
not 90,
97. December.
97.
Yes, I think it was December 10th, 1997. Yes, it was an amazing, amazing time. And Larry taught me something really interesting. He said to me, he said something about this in a little tribute. During a commercial break, he said, James, I saw you on that David Hockney show on MSNBC, and I didn't like it just now. I didn't like it. I said, why, Larry? He said, he was negative to you. He was really negative. You're a guest and he's a host. And whether he believes in what you do or anything, when you have a guest, you can't put your own personal bias to that guest. And he did that. He goes, you don't do that as a host. And that was true, and it was really true. And that was like, wow. So in this tribute I wrote about that, and I said, for you next generation of Barbara Walters and Oprahs, remember that you have a responsibility, and that's to stay neutral. And I learned that in broadcasting school, so it's very interesting.
And was he good to you,
Oh,
Larry?
he's great to me. Larry was really great. Larry was very real to me. Wendy Walker was the executive producer, who really wasn't the one who put me on that show, and we have a great friendship still. But it was Larry. Larry was just a great guy. The thing about Larry was he was genuinely interested in you, genuinely
Yeah.
interested in the topic, and no matter what the topic would be, he had a really general interest. He wanted to learn from you, and that was part of his skill. I think is a wonderful
He was
quality.
something, he lived in Beverly Hills, and we would see him all the time walking. He'd go to Nate and Al's for
Nate and House
breakfast
every
every
day.
day, 7 days a week. And I read a great article, and I knew some of the waitresses there at the deli, famous deli in Beverly Hills. And he became friends with all of them, and he always wanted to know what they did outside of work. He was genuinely
Interested,
interested.
without a doubt.
Yeah,
Without a doubt. See, is this thing real you do? Can you? He goes,
yeah.
well, I want to know because I want to know. And it's funny because last night I was watching a show that they interviewed him a year ago. It was right after he had his stroke. And they asked him about death. And when I first met him, he was very afraid of a death. During a commercial break, by the way, in the first show, his father came through and he gave him some very good evidence. He said, sit back, Joe. Yeah. And but last night in that show I was watching, the interviewer asked him, what about death? He goes, I'm not scared about death. He goes, I know there's something else.
Was that because you were on the show?
Who knows?
Have to have been. Had to
Or
have
other
been.
mediums too. Yeah. It's
But
just,
because he opened that door for you, and because you were
well,
brave
not
enough
just
to step
me,
in and
but
do
like
it,
millions of people, millions
but it
around the world.
opened it up to everybody.
Everyone. It changed the consciousness, really. It
Yeah.
just opened up to everybody around. And that was we realized Friday night, it was 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, 6 o'clock to 7, CNN. The phone call started. And the first time I did phone calls, first time. And I just wanted to hear their voice, and I got right in. The phone calls did not stop till Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. CNN around the world.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And my book went from
That's amazing.
6,000 copies to 700,000 within 2 months.
Well, and
Yeah.
that's when my girlfriend was watching it and you were giving a reading, and she swore that that was her father that you were talking to because you were so exact with the description, and it had just been her father had just died, everything that you had said about it, and it was because of that that she went to see you at the Bodhi Tree bookstore the next
Mm,
day, and she waited in line like everybody else and bought 2 copies, and you signed an autographed copy for me.
wow. Wow. Wow.
Changed my life.
And bringing this around to our topic here too is yesterday when I wrote that little blurb for Larry, my first did is 97. Amazed, it threw me up in this, the public eye right away. The airports, people, the reporters around, was weird. And till I wrote that letter yesterday, I hadn't thought about the impact that it
Mm.
had. And this day, the impact that show and the books and so forth, it really has made an impact. So for everybody that's watching, your complaints, your thoughts, the actions that you give to others, you have to be responsible because you don't want to get to the other side and say, oh, why did I think that way? Why did I do that? You got to step out because your one word, your thought affects many, 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 many people. And
Yes.
that's how you have to live life. It affects many people. How would you like to be treated? How would you like to live your life? You have to make this world a better place when you found it.
Yes.
That's my motto
Yeah.
of living life. Yeah.
Well, and you
Stop
really did,
complaining.
James. You really you really did, though. You've made the world so much better for everybody.
Well, I
My
want to
gosh.
find joy in life. I really want to find joy in life. I always look for the positive, finding joy. And I think it's made me a happier person. And you'll always have people that complain around you, even when you're very happy, or there'll be negativity or people around you. Say, I don't have time for it. I've been through that. I don't want to do that.
Oh
Look
my
up,
gosh.
look up to the stars. You have to,
Exactly.
you look down
Ex
here. You gotta look up, always look at the stars to find heaven.
Right, right. It's a truth. It's so truth. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Jean Sloan says you were an inspiration to millions, James, and it's so true.
Thank you. Wow, that's
It's
good.
so true here. Oh my gosh. Everybody's so kind here.
How do you
Uh,
handle road rage? That's a great one, Scott Huff. How do you handle road rage? I love that. Kelly, you tell a person, I'll tell you my story.
okay. We- okay. How do I?
Road rage.
First of
I
all,
don't know road rage.
and I grew up in LA, so we know from road rage. And I'll tell you the funniest things because I drive like an old lady, I guess. I drive slow. I don't know. All I know is that people would always yell at me, and I thought, why are they yelling at me? And
I've
they
been
would
in
be
the car with you, by the way. You do drive like an old
like
lady.
like an old lady, and people be flipping me off and this and that, and I'm like, this is me. Oh hi, I didn't even know that people were angry at me. That's the funniest
Well,
part.
that's why the opening of our show is in the park. You're like, look, oh, it's
Oh,
you. It's us.
it's hysterical. So, how do you handle road rage? Be very first of all, are you the road rager?
Right.
Are you talking about you as a road rager, or are you talking about as doing this? Well, somebody's doing it to you. If somebody's doing it to you, pull off the side of the road, let them pass. Keep
Yes.
going.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would exactly.
don't engage with a borderline or with a psychopath or a sociopath or a narcissist. Don't engage
Well,
with some crazy.
Monica's writing this. I'm guilty just like Monica's. It depends on how I feel, but you know me, hi. And I'll stop at the light and say, "It's right behind me and next to me." And I
Do you
look at
say
him,
something?
I go, "Hi." Or, "Mwah."
Oh my gosh.
On the freeways in Los Angeles and California, those freeways. I'm in I live in San Diego. Let me tell you, when you get from Orange County down, when you get just that county line after Kent Pendleton, I don't know if it's 85 or 100.
Right.
There's a university down here. Their kids are they go like
Oh, it's
crazy,
crazy.
crazy.
It's
And I'm
so
like,
true.
whoa, I'm going 60. I'm like, whoa. So it's interesting. And I'm like, where are they going? We're going to get there eventually. Where are they going? It's a great place, great situation to practice patience and
Yes.
mindfulness.
And don't engage, whatever
Don't
you
engage.
do,
No, and
you
send
know.
love.
Yeah.
Pink light, unconditional love. Uh,
Jennifer Smith says, "My husband drives so slow." His answer, "I'm in no hurry. I'll get there when I get there." Okay.
That's great.
I have to say, Jennifer, kind of like your husband. That's really funny. It's like, I'll get there when I get there. I'm not in a hurry. Now that I live on a farm, first of all, I have no place to go. I can't even go to the store tomorrow because of the snow. I've never driven in snow. Well,
You
I've
have
never
snow
driven in
now, huh?
snow. And Don is like, "No, no, I'll drive." So, I don't think he trusts me. Um,
I love the picture you sent, by the way. The great picture of the lanterns in front yard. Those go.
yeah.
I'm doing that in my tree too. I want to put
Are
lanterns in
you?
my tree. I
Oh,
was like, oh my
yeah.
god! It's like you knew it. Yeah, just love
I
that.
love it. I love it. Let's see. Okay, what
Thanks, Anna.
do I believe in numerology? Chris, yes, I do very
I do
much.
too.
I love numerology. I think that astrology and numerology all help us know thyself.
Yeah,
The
it's
more you
tools.
know about it, about yourself, if you just know what number you are, it's really important because as a soul, we choose certain things we want to work on in this life. And if you I'm at number 33, so I have to walk a fine line. I have to do a certain thing. And James is a 9, and you come in to complete a soul cycle in a big
Mhm.
one. So, yeah, I believe in numerology. Thank you for
Yeah,
asking
it's a
very
tool
much.
like astrology and psychic work. It's those tools to know
The
thyself.
tools, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Um, Ki Kim Ann Nadra says, "Kelly, tell me, do you drive slower than the tractor?" Sometimes actually, the tractors get in my way, and I just slow down, and I think, "What am I gonna do?" I don't wanna, like, go around a tractor. I don't know why I don't, but I don't.
Hey, I just want to say something quick before we forget. I just pop ahead. When you're feeling a little out of sorts too, and you want to complain, go out in nature and look at the birds. Try to
Oh,
connect with the birds, right? Connect with
love
the
birds.
birds, the sounds of the birds, just some nature would really help you with that. With the clouds, something with nature. And the other thing I want to mention before I forget is the next course I'm doing is it's on sale now. It's a great course. It's a soul coaching course, a live coach, soul coach, very
And you're
different.
starting tomorrow, aren't you?
Tomorrow, the first phone call. No, next week is the first phone call. But yeah, registration for tomorrow. So that's at the school, the JP School of Mystical Arts. There it is right there. And Renee put that up there. And it's one of my most well attended or most purchased courses and most of the feedback. So I chose a course this year to promote that. Done very well. People really love it. This is one of the top ones. So
And
you
this
know,
is also a great course because if you're thinking of changing professions right now, if you're looking into something new and you want to help people, this is a great one for that.
it's a great one for that. It's many years of working with a lot of coaches and a lot of metaphysical people, if you will, and yeah, philosophers, and it's good. So look it up if you'd like to, and I'd love to have you there.
That's a
And
good
Kelly,
one.
you have something very exciting coming up. Could you
Oh, I
mention
do.
that?
It's called Bad Siblings. Bad Siblings. That's correct. So as we were talking about borderline personality, do I know anything about that? Wink, wink. Yes, I do. And that is Bad Siblings on February 27th, Pacific time, noon to 2. And James is going to graciously give us a meditation in the end.
To help you
And
with the healing part of the healing
for
aspect of it.
siblings, healing for siblings.
Love it.
They say it couldn't be done. Well, we're gonna give it a go. We're gonna see. But you guys would love it. It's really good. With Dr. Shirley and Pellizzeri. It's gonna be really fun.
Right.
Well, fun, I don't know, but it's gonna be good.
It'll be good. Well, I think that's it. I think we're out of time.
That is. Oh, and then I have a show Thursday, this Thursday. Ask Me Anything. So I'm available for Ask Me Anything.
So that's the name of
Thursday.
your show. Ask Me
The
Anything.
name of it, Ask
And
Me Anything.
that's something to get readings on Ask Me Anything or no?
I do. Sometimes I do readings. Sometimes I do. I do readings,
Psychological
and I
aspect.
do talk about psychological and spiritual, and people come up with some really interesting questions.
What do you grow on the farm?
What do I grow on the farm? I mean, what am I doing on a farm?
What do you do on the
That's
farm?
really
How do you get your hair done on the farm?
how do you get your hair done? I was
I
like,
bet
you
you
wouldn't
haven't asked that one. I'm sure you have.
Oh, I get asked that all
On the farm, though.
oh my God. It's so funny. Well, thank you, James,
Thanks,
so
Kelly.
much. Thank you,
Thanks,
Renee.
And thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We love hanging out with you. And really
Yeah.
thank you. And hope we'll see you all around the
See you
universe.
next week. Bye.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now and Beyond, featuring spiritual medium and master teacher James Van Praagh and spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
The James and Kellee Show.